Okay, welcome to both sides of the mic. This is May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, which is only celebrated in the US, of course. Um, and our guest caller this week is Johnny Preston from, and I'm probably going to say it wrong, Temecula.
Perfect.
Ah, good. Which is somewhere in the ocean. No, it's on the west coast, somewhere, what, San Francisco area maybe?
No, about halfway between San Diego and Los Angeles, but farther inland.
Yeah, yeah, kind of countryish, is it?
Oh no, Temecula is probably the fastest growing area in California. The traffic's awful.
Oh my.
Um, it's yeah, it's a big growing area.
What uh, what got you out there? Because I remember you from Detroit.
Yeah, I lived in Detroit. I had several of my sisters moved out here, and I started coming out to travel, and I like the weather better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Sometimes things are just as simple as that.
yeah. I guess so. Well, I guess what I like to do is start off with a question that every is on everybody's lips. It's in their minds. Uh, it's the Johnny Preston question. And what's your favorite Jello flavor?
Jello flavor,
Yeah.
lime, probably. I haven't had Jello in probably 30 years, though.
Well, we'll see what we can do about that. Maybe. Hey, Mickey, the next time John's out there in Germany, you get some lime jello for him. Uh, so anyhow, like I say,
Don't listen to him, Mickey.
I've got it noted.
he's that's why we can't see Mickey now. He's busy making it. Um,
Cooking the limoncello.
yeah. Anyhow, I remember John from Detroit. I remember your folks very well, and uh, I don't know um, what what got you into calling. Since they were into dancing, of course, they probably got you into dancing.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, it was a little more. I was going to start school at Wayne State University in Detroit, and my sister had an apartment on campus, and she offered to let me stay there during the weekdays if I would take square dance lessons with her.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I had to battle several days on what my answer was going to be on that. So, but
Oh,
I ended up we had to drive back to our hometown, about an hour and some, every Wednesday night, and it didn't take long for me to realize that oh, I don't want to be in the audience. I want to be on stage. I was a theater guy,
oh yeah.
and so being
Yes.
on stage is just more attractive to me.
Oh yeah.
I like to dance, though. Don't get me wrong. I like to dance, but
That's well. That yeah. I didn't know you had sisters even. Um,
four.
oh my gosh. And you were the only boy?
Yes, and the youngest.
Oh my gosh. That's that's medal worthy.
Yeah, it could be thought that way.
Yeah. Oh lordy. So you got started in calling, and how did you start? You,
Well, my parents had a what would probably be nowadays C3 um, tape workshop in their basement, and so on Tuesday nights it was my job to get out of the house, go somewhere else.
yeah, yeah.
Well, bad weather, whatever it was, I ended up staying, and I sat on the stairs to the basement watching them, and I said, "Oh, I kind of like this idea. It's geometric and patterns and mathematics.
Hmm.
So that's all challenge dancing really is. It's mathematics. To be successful, you have to have some kind of ability in mathematics. Um, so anyway, I sat on the stairs there for quite a while, and then during the day, I would go down the basement and play my dad's tape that they were using, and I'd write down maybe 10 or 12 calls. Then I'd go get Burleson's and I'd read how to do it. And then my mind would just say, okay, what if I halved, three-quartered it, split it, inverted it, all those kind of things that you could do to calls. And it all came very easy to me. And within 3 or 4 weeks, I was correcting them on the dance floor.
Oh,
While I'm sitting on the stairs, I would tell my mother, turn around. Or somebody else, no, you're on the end.
yeah,
So then I started, I started calling it challenge level.
yeah,
Um, Mostly C3 and C4. It wasn't called that at the time, but that was in effect what it was.
yeah. Yeah, we had so many different you danced a gully level or a Cotman level or you danced a Hodson. Yeah.
Yeah, mostly it was Keith Gully's levels, Quartermores, Mixers. Um, I remember those names. I think Lee Cotman had Paramus was one of his groups and
Yeah.
some others, but most of the people went by Keith Gully's.
Okay. I know when I got into it, it was just one big list. It wasn't even a list. It was just hand you Burleson's here.
Or or you had to know who you were dancing to know which, set of calls they liked.
Yeah.
And it's it's different now. I'm not going to say better.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Oh, Lordy. So,
Right now, there's really nothing better going on in square dancing that I can see, except maybe these Zoom meetings.
yeah. Uh, yeah, we're having a tough time with it. It's like starting over, John.
Absolutely.
You know, I had a spring dance last night with my beginners, and we had visitors from all around, and we just had fun. We just uh, there was no level. I mean, it was like ladies' chain, that kind of a thing. But yeah,
That is brilliant square dancing. That's what we lost track of, and now we can't recruit anybody because the bad word about square dancing has gotten around. Um, they think it's too hard. And we had an opportunity now with SSD going on. We
hmm.
had the opportunity to fix that, and it's broken already. It's
Oh
done.
yeah,
It's finished.
and
It's finished because for some reason Color Lab just folded it into the existing programs. They got rid of
yeah.
the term basic and just substituted SSD and then rearrange the calls a little bit. That's not going to accomplish anything because
Mm,
all it is it's a different, they just moved the stop sign from
yeah, yeah,
basic to SSD. And then, as has happened all the time in the past, they just blow through the stop sign.
and yeah, and it's just a
So,
stepping stone.
right. So the SSD that I'm going to do, I'm not even going to call it SSD. That was never supposed to be on flyers and lists like that. It was just an kind of an internal thinking about SSD, which started as sustainable square dancing,
Mm.
then went to social square dancing. I used the term simple square dancing because I
Oh,
didn't want to change the letters because I don't think anybody knows what sustainable square dancing means. And
yeah, right.
if it does, it sounds like we're in trouble and we need help.
Yes, yeah,
Social square dancing, well, all dancing is social, so
yeah.
it doesn't add any information to the people that we'd like to do. So starting in July, I will be having every Sunday a charity dance, different place, 4 different places, and we'll choose different charities and everything because square dancing is very, very hard to promote on its own merit anymore.
Hmm.
I would just like it to become a thing that, oh yeah, we went to a square dance one time and it was fine. We've got to change the mind of millions before we can get hundreds to come and square dance.
Oh yeah.
Um, and some of it has to do with COVID, but not much. Most of it was already existing. And it was existing 50
Oh
years ago. You read some of the old magazines where they're talking about, oh, square dancing's getting too hard.
yeah, yeah.
And My first time calling in public was at the 1976 National Convention in Anaheim. There were 40,000 dancers there.
Oh yeah, yeah, I
This
remember that.
this year this year there was well, last year there was what, 2,000?
Isn't that something? Oh,
Yeah, that's a 90% drop. That's probably not exactly the number in the entire activity, but it's close.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's society has changed anyhow. The way we
And we
live.
and we didn't change along with it.
No, we didn't. We didn't. Um, One of my most successful situations was in November and December of last year. Uh, I just had fun nights um, every Monday night, fun nights, and we had a lot of people come out um, to do it. And then when we went to classes, we dropped in half.
Oh yeah.
You know,
But
but
that should be expected. So therefore you have to have twice as many as you'd
yeah,
like to have. Uh, I don't, if I do a weekend and I'm, trying to figure out how much money I need to get out of it,
hmm
well, I don't look at it and say, well, if we have a full house and they pay this much money, then I'll have enough money for me left over.
hmm
Well, you can't calculate it that way. You have to
no,
calculate as if we have a half a crowd, I'm going to make my money. If we have a big crowd, then I'll make more.
yeah,
But that's some of the budgeting things that we have going on with the clubs right now. Um, I have to offer fees that I never thought I would offer.
oh yeah,
Um, if I want to work at all, and if I want to be part of the solution.
that's true. Yeah,
It's not in any interest of mine to put square dance clubs out of business.
no, I mean that's rather defeatist.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, yeah. Well, we're not going to solve those problems.
not
We're
today.
not today. Just in our own way, we can make it better in certain areas. Um, have have you done caller schools or caller clinics?
I've been on a couple of them. I will be starting some more, but it's going to be for new people, and all I will be teaching them is how to do a one night stand, to introduce square dancing to people. We'll start there. Let them do 5 or 10 of those events
Mhm.
before they move to the next step. Um, I don't do the caller schools because the ones that are existing, I don't think are teaching the right things. That's just my opinion. But you walk in there and it's like, okay, I want to turn all these people into club callers and, you know,
Yeah,
festival callers and everything. I'll teach them how to site call and all that stuff. And we don't need any more callers at that level. We need
yeah.
callers that can introduce square dancing to people. So why don't we have a school that is specifically designed for that? Um, I've got a different project going on right now, but I certainly plan that in the future.
I like that idea.
I think there's a lot of people out there that, I don't want to become a full caller, but you know what? I'd like to learn enough so that if we have a family reunion
Hmm
or a party at the church or whatever, that I can get up there and say, hey, would you guys help me out here a little bit of square dancing?
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn to be a caller, so, and people are helpful. They'll do
Oh
that
yeah.
for 10 or 15 minutes, and
Yeah.
they might even like it.
Yeah. Well, especially if they feel they're helping someone out, you know. They're,
hmm
um,
But we need people to introduce square dancing, not to cater to the ones we already have.
that's
They're already
that's
square dancers. Why,
yeah.
why
Well,
spend
that's
all of your
true.
time with them? You have to look to the future, and we didn't look to the future for 20 or 30 years.
No, no.
Now the future's staring us in the face, and we're trying
We
to desperately and quickly come up with some solutions, and
yeah.
it's not going to be a quick solution.
Not really when you consider all the callers involved and all the opinions that run rather contrary to the concept of just have a good time.
Mhm.
Uh, I like the idea of the fun night
That
introduction.
sounds very interesting, but I was going to do my club when I finally start the club and everything. I was going to do that on a Friday night because that's when that's when they're free. They don't have to get up the next morning.
Yeah.
Just make it a family event or a
Yeah.
citywide event and everything. Bring the family,
Yeah.
and let's get back to do si do, circle left, alaman left,
Yeah.
right and left grand. Build the pace a little bit and
Yeah.
be entertaining and get more people involved.
Yeah. Yeah. I think get the entertainment part in there. Um, not all callers are going to be show people, but they can, with a little bit of help,
Well,
they can be a little more interesting.
I would question anybody that wants to become a caller that doesn't realize that it is an entertainment. You have to entertain.
Yes. Yeah. You
Um,
you
now,
better.
now some of the callers are, don't really think about themselves as square dance callers. They're challenge callers. So that's a little different, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
totally different. I mean, when you consider, C3 and C4, that's a different activity. And
Unfortunately, though, I believe that some challenge callers and the challenge idea got overplayed in Caller Lab, and we took a step in the wrong direction. All of a sudden, oh, let's teach all position from the beginning.
oh, yeah,
Well, that's
yeah,
a terrible idea.
it is. Yes, I agree.
And yet I still hear people call it because they're challenge dancers. They don't they don't care about that lower level. They want to move people up so that they can fill their own groups.
Yeah.
Um, we all have that self-preservation in our heads. And one of my self-preservations is stop. Callers need to stop trying to teach people to dance to everybody else.
Mhm.
Build your own first. We can make a big happy family, but we can't do it right now with the new people because all of a sudden it becomes an expense. Okay, I got to buy these clothes.
Mhm.
They want me to go on weekends. They want me to go on cruises, all this
Yeah.
stuff and everything. And they see the flyers on the table and they go, I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And next week, when it's time to get up and go to class, I'm overwhelmed. Let's
Yeah.
watch TV.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And, simplicity was not something that I started out as a caller. Um, the harder, the better at that time, but I was only dealing with people that were already there. Um,
That's yeah. Okay. Yeah.
and then when I moved to California, I started doing a lot of plus. We don't have much mainstream out here, doing a lot of plus and advanced dances and a little bit of C1, but
Hmm.
not overdoing it.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to move your mind from simplicity and entertainment to C3 and C4 choreography um, without getting them mixed up too frequently.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I still like to have fun at the challenge level. It's there's so many things that you can do. You can play on words. Uh, you know,
mhm.
um, the call Locker's Choice. At one of the Advance and Challenge festivals, I introduced a new call called Yuba, and then I worked it all up into Yuba Locker's Choice, which was a play on my
Okay.
my name, of course. And they all, I got a good groan out of everybody, but so yeah, we can have fun at the challenge level too. It doesn't have to be so darn serious, you know.
Mhm.
Golly. Um,
Well, some people like to play checkers and some people like to play chess.
yes, yeah,
So I don't, I don't deny the challenge dancers. They're fun and everything, but they're never going to be part of the solution.
no, 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 not unless they come down and help with a brand new. And there are some of the challenge dances that do that. They're very good at supporting the incoming people because they know we need those people to keep the activity alive. Without it, you aren't going to have challenge dancers.
Well, let me tell you something else I discovered is that the challenge dancers and the higher level dancers that come to Angel at the classes, they end up giving the caller and the other people a false sense of the accomplishments of the new dancers. If they're helping and pushing them through all the calls, no wonder when they go to their first dance,
Yeah,
yeah, where's that hand in my back that I that I
yeah,
need to
yeah,
do this call? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we've just got a complete change of attitude about square dancing. Go back to, the barn dancing areas and move forward and figure out where we made the mistakes and
Hmm.
try to fix them for there. Or we're just going to have to start a parallel new activity. There's nothing wrong with, callers don't have to bring uh, their knowledge from other things into this. They can just be simple square dance callers, have a simple group. You can do
Hmm.
all the other stuff you want, but I think every caller should have a group that's designed to bring people into square dancing without making them have to become full-time square dancers. And SSD was supposed to do that, but it got taken to Caller Lab, and it was obvious what Caller Lab was going to do. They were going to fold it into the existing programs. And so all we did was, I think I said this earlier, but all we did was move the goalpost to the
Hmm.
stop sign a little bit further so we stop at 50. My
Yeah.
SSD is 40 calls.
Okay.
Um, and it progresses in a way that it progressed before and didn't work. The progression in square dancing is the biggest hurdle we have to get over.
Mm.
Not every person that starts square dancing should be prepared to become a challenge dancer.
Oh
So
no.
I don't care if I taught that wrong. I taught it in a way that's good enough for these people that I want to call for, and I want to get it done quick.
Hmm.
I'm only going to call this from one position, so I'll teach you that one position and everything. If it's some other date they wanted to, move into modern Western square dancing, well, I know where to send them.
Hmm.
But in the meantime, I don't want angels at the dances. I want the new people. Now, the
Hmm.
second series, I don't mind those first new people coming and helping, but I don't even really tell people in out here the regular dancers because they'd like to come along and help,
Oh
but
yeah.
but I don't even know yet how successful it'll be.
Hmm.
So I don't need help. I need to help myself first, because
Yeah.
that was one of the problems when Jerry took the idea to Caller Lab. I told him, I says, we haven't even tried this yet.
Yeah.
we we have no idea if this will work. It's a thought right now. And then taking it to Caller Lab, they just took it over. They
Yeah.
just took it over and produced something that I don't think has any chance of succeeding.
Well,
Our
they're
clubs
already.
out
Yeah.
here, they're trying.
Yeah.
You've got um, clubs that are having plus and SSD and plus dances.
Oh my.
Yeah, but it's even worse than that. So you do a SSD tip, then you got to have rounds, then you do a plus tip, then you got to have rounds. So they're dancing 25% of the time and paying the same amount to get in. They're not stupid. That's why we get 2 or 3 people coming to these dances that are SSD.
Hmm.
And there's a lot to be worked out on it. It's it should have been worked out way before it was presented as an idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's too big of a list to start with. Um, you
I cut
know.
mine down to 40.
Yeah. I'll have to look at mine and see what I'm doing because I've got them up to what they say is around lesson 9. Although again, it's like yours. It's my list, and I don't have to do anything for anybody else. If these dancers are happy, good. If they want more, like you say, I know where to send them.
Yeah.
Um,
But I would be looking at something of having these new people folded into the modern Western square dance scene. I would want them dancing for 5 years before before I talk to them about it. But the other thing is having, existing modern Western square dancers coming to these events and then talking to people on the side. Oh, you ought to learn load the boat.
oh yeah, yeah,
And
that's
and I'm
that.
trying to get them happy with do-si-do.
Yeah, yeah,
Put
right.
put some style into it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. there is so much stuff out there that we can do with basic and fun
Well,
stuff.
that's another statement. I don't even think about other things that we can do. You know, I hear people. Well, then you could do them half sashayed. No, that's not
Oh
part of
no
the
no.
SSD program at all. There's, in fact, all 8 circulates are with boys on the end, girls in the middle. All of the calls are done from standard positions, and
Yeah.
there should be no desire to move them up. We need to build that level 20-fold,
Hmm.
maybe more than that, before we should even think about moving them into modern Western square dancing. And that's only if they want to do it.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
wouldn't try to propose it. I wouldn't mention it at a dance. There would be no flyers on my tables, no modern Western square dance flyers on the tables.
Hmm.
Probably no flyers at all, anyway. Let's have a food table. Forget the.
Yeah, yeah. You got food, you got people. Yeah. Yeah, we had great food last night. Um, and they ate. Oh boy, did they eat. That was good. Well, yeah, yeah. The thing I'm talking about is simple things like, rather than heads promenade the other way,
Hmm.
or the heads promenade all the way. What does that
Hmm.
screw up the experienced dancers?
I do that all the time at dances.
And then in the meantime, the sides can be playing around and doing stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I agree there. So, like, if you had if we if we had superpowers, that would help. Have you had any particular thoughts about that? What superpower you might like to have?
Yeah, the only one that I've ever thought about really is that, and this was quite a while ago when we're first starting to have these big problems, is that why don't we just freeze everybody at the level they're at right now? Nobody gets to move up. But there was a period of about 15 years where transitional square dancing was the most profitable for callers, so a lot of callers did that. And
Hmm.
when the others saw that it was profitable, all of a sudden we've got every caller in Southern California doing A1 classes and
Uh,
A2 classes.
yeah.
Perfectly fine, but at that same time we were neglecting the lower level. And we're paying for that now.
Yeah, well, everybody thought that they would move everybody up to those other levels and they'd get new people in, and that's the whole darn thing. And SSD has done that. It's just a stepping stone. And they think, well, I can teach 3 classes a year now, so I'll have a lot more people. Well, the clubs that I've seen doing SSD, they're moving people to mainstream.
Two
Like
week
you
two
say,
weeks of practice and then on to mainstream and plus.
the flyers come out. Want to learn mainstream now? You've got SSD. Well, why do you do that? Don't do that.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't well presented, and Caller Lab just, filled in all the holes with something that would be practical for them. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Can I
That's
add something to that?
yes, Michael.
Yeah. Since I'm the vice chairman of the Basic Mainstream Committee, we still have that program, right? And
Yes, so
SSD is a
SSD wasn't necessary for you.
right, and SSD is on the other hand, it should be a self-standing program and had nothing to do with the stepping stone, but it is
Absolutely.
misused. It is misused there, but still, it is not, intend to be a stepping stone, but the clubs. They say, those few calls you're missing now regarding mainstream and basic calls, you're even missing some basic calls, right? It's not the
yeah.
one program or the other program. We can teach them to you plus the program. So I'm with you that, the stop sign has changed, but it's not a stop sign or a
Oh
level
yeah,
by its own, but
yeah,
it's
they
being
just blow
used
through the
as a,
stop sign.
and the main problem I see now is that we have two entry level programs, and that's the bad thing about it,
Hmm.
right? And we need to get and find common ground and get one entry level program to promote
Well, I don't
worldwide.
I don't think that's true. Two entry level programs is fine because they are two separate activities. I don't try to dictate to traditional square dancing or contra or any of those other styles of square dancing what they have to do. SSD can be on their own, do what they want to do, and having the plus clubs, and I do applaud the plus clubs and for joining in and trying. But once it was over, it became, well, you know what? We really don't need SSD dancers at our club. We need plus dancers. So, you know, practice
Yeah,
for
but
a
you
few
now
weeks.
have this one stop sign after SSD, and we had two stop signs at the basic and mainstream. So,
Yep.
yeah, got to work the programs, and then probably.
Well, understanding how this program is supposed to work needs a lot more discussion. A
Yeah,
lot more.
yeah.
Yeah, with you.
And I understand Color Lab is now coming out with another idea that won't help. I mean, if you're going to throw out more ideas like this, you
What
can't
is it?
change. Oh, I don't know if it's called the proposal. Mickey might know more about that. It's like a 50 or a 60 call list. And then the
Let's
next,
go back to 15. Yeah, it depends on talking about the families or the calls by itself, whatever. And we need to come down because, as a matter of fact, we have 5 entry levels. In some places, you've got the basic, and others, you've got the mainstream. Some of them have SSD, some of them have the plus going all the way through. So, yeah, and some
yeah,
kind of mixtures. And yeah, and I think it's gotten, I'm with Johnny about that, too complicated in the entry level. And we just should be there plain vanilla, which does not mean that it is not worth it to be there for years and have fun and enjoy it, right? So I'm
If they're never
absolutely with you.
if they're never exposed to anything else, what do they care? They're
I have
enjoying what.
afternoon groups in the Munich area where we have entry level, whenever you want to come and have a good time and join with the group, and there is no need for any fancy stuff, whatever. If they want to, they can get to other clubs and join the program. But so far we're the biggest clubs down Munich, I would say.
yeah. Okay, well, we solved that problem. No,
I hope to see you this summer in Munich, by the way.
Try to make it, yeah.
I'll be at Jolly Jokers.
Yeah, I've seen it. I hope I'm off on that day, but I probably have a date to call. But I stop by for the party.
All right. Shameless promotion. Here I go.
yeah. Yes. Well, we haven't got to the commercial section yet, but what the heck? On my list of questions, of course, I ask, are you an introvert or an extrovert? We know what you are.
You want to ask me that live?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm very shy.
Yes. Did you ever, because you were sort of leaning towards drama sort of a thing, did you ever act in shows or anything? Or
Yeah, in high school and one in college.
yeah.
Um, I started getting involved with a stock theater, local people that do theater and everything. But then I got involved with the square dancing and just had to give that up.
Yeah.
Can't do both. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so in school, like high school and whatnot, were you the class clown sort of a thing?
No,
No.
actually, in school I was a brainiac.
Oh, all right.
So when I was going to school, college, I was enrolled in the pre-med program. But it occurred to me eventually that I don't like blood. I don't want to be around sick people all the time. So um, it became an easy choice at that moment because square dancing was just becoming um, popular for me. And well, I had success very quickly. So
Yeah. Um, it's
that's
funny.
because they needed people in challenge calling.
Yeah,
There,
yeah,
there wasn't
right.
very many of them. So
Right. Uh, Funny you should mention blood. Sometimes it feels like I'm drawing blood when I'm calling. Uh, let's see, what do we got here? Um, so, how would your family and friends describe you? And we're hopefully we didn't lose you entirely.
No, I was trying to fix my camera because my camera's set up high. So when I'm looking at the my screen on my laptop, it looks like I'm looking down. So I was trying to move the camera to a
Ah,
more parallel place. Let,
ah.
let me see if, let me see if this works.
Yeah, if you're climbing on a ladder, we don't want to see that. Oh, that's good. Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, wait. Just have to
Whoops.
adjust
There.
the.
Oh, you're much taller than I thought.
If I sit back, I'm kind of centered in the.
Yeah, in the aqueduct. Yeah. All right. Um, so yeah, how would your family and friends describe you?
Probably as somewhat of a clown, but they know me better.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Well, you had. It sounds like you had the right kind of environment, relationship wise. You know, your family was involved in square dancing, so your sisters know that background and in the drama part,
Yep.
and your friends would have been the same sort of ilk. Um, I just think many times, I know with my family, they had no idea what I was doing, and they thought, you know, what is he doing with his life? Nothing. Calling square dances. Can you make a living doing that?
Not right now.
No, no, not right now. That's for sure. How would you describe yourself in one word?
Human.
Okay, so that's so much for AI. Uh,
No, I'm real.
yep. Are you a robot? Yes. Um, Let me see here. Okay? What's the most favorite thing about what you do as a caller?
Fitting in with the SSD right now, the favorite thing I like to do is call for people that haven't square danced or people that are brand new, or if I'm traveling somewhere, people that have danced to me before.
Hmm.
That gives me the most joy because I can see them go from a point of, trepidation, not sure what's going to happen into, oh, I'm having so much fun. And I hate this term, but he's not calling anything. That means, of course, he's not calling anything difficult or challenging or anything.
Hmm.
And I consider that a compliment.
Okay. Do you remember your first kiss, other than family?
Um, yes, but I'm not naming names.
Well, I don't think they're probably, available anymore. Um,
I am. Why shouldn't they be?
oh yeah. Oh lordy. So, do you have any kids?
I have two kids. They both live up in Washington State. I have a girl and a boy, I think 33 and 30.
Hmm.
I have four grandchildren.
Oh my. Wow. So
So
you're a lot older than you look, eh?
I'm 68. I'm 68.
No kidding. Oh my gosh.
Well,
I
Joe, think how far back it was when I called for the metronomes. I was in my 20s then.
yeah. I know. I know. I mean, you were like a teenager the first time danced to you.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I started when I was 20, so I wasn't a teenager, but
no, no, but you looked young all along. Yeah. It's
well,
it's amazing.
thank you for that.
Well, hey, 68. You passed me. I mean, I'm not in my 60s yet. I, I have I
Or
have
still.
I have Greece. I use Grecian formula. And as Clendenin would say about the lack of hair, he says uh, his hormones have better things to do than grow hair. So I'll stick with that too. Um, see, college school's favorite call. So what do you do to de-stress? What do you have hobbies?
Um, I'm starting to get into flowers and stuff like that, trying to grow flowers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, I used to like to golf, but I don't have a golfing buddy out here anymore. So
Hmm.
um, I like going to museums and theaters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to golf, if you come to Munich, we can go golfing for sure.
Yeah, I'll put my clubs and I'll carry my clubs all, all around here.
I think we can arrange some clubs for you.
Unfortunately, I probably won't have time. I'm calling almost every day and got to move on to the next town.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to be beat at golf.
Yeah, that's what it is. Oh Lordy. Well, that's what it was back in the day, though, Johnny, was as a traveling caller, I always had the feeling I've been everywhere, but I've seen nothing because you call and you gotta run to the next place. You call, run to the next place. Then you're home.
That was never my style. I always made sure that I had time to do other things, and I did them.
Ah,
So if I was going to Paris, I didn't just go call in Paris. Of course, I would go and see Paris.
oh wow.
That's a bad example, but towns in Germany, for example, there are small towns in Germany. They have a small square dance club, but they have interesting things around town. So why not arrive 3 or 4 hours early and take a walk around a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think they call that smelling the roses.
Yes, yes. Well, I didn't do that until I got married the last time. Uh, finally, I figured out what life's about. In fact, I think it was in Germany the last time I saw you, Johnny. I think we were doing, I don't know if we were, you and Bronk Weiss, and I thought, I'm not sure if I was calling it that one or not. It was,
I did a few festivals with Bronk out there over there.
yeah,
Um, I just yeah, I would have to guess, and I won't.
I think it was 1996.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Probably IPAC.
And it was
Maybe IPAC.
maybe, maybe, um, that was one of the ones, though, I started out calling it. It was a C3 weekend, uh, a combination A and B up in Plune.
Plön, yes.
Yeah. And
I called there a few times. Their Easter weekend or Easter week, actually. I think it was a
oh,
whole
yeah,
week.
neat.
Yep.
Yeah. 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 Like you say, there's a lot of nice places. Oh, one of these days we'll get back. If you were writing your autobiography, what would the title be?
Square them up.
Okay. That's a good one.
Probably given a little more time, I could come up with something more clever, but
I had one caller say the name of his autobiography was "What Could Go Wrong."
it's good too. Now I have two different ones.
Yeah, yeah. That's going to be on my tombstone that I'm not going to ever have. I'm too mean to die. Um, do you play an instrument?
Just the vocals.
Just the vocals. Okay, that's pretty good one, considering the job you have.
Good start.
Yeah, yeah, right. Um, if you could have coffee with any historical figure, who might that be?
Whoa.
Hmm.
That's a really tough one because there's so many that.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just going to guess one. I'm just going to throw one out. He's not with us anymore, but Robin Williams probably would have been
Oh,
something that I would have enjoyed because he not only had the funny side, he had a serious side, and that's and you got to see that in a couple of his movies, and
Yeah, yeah. It- It's interesting because ourselves as performers, we we have similar situations.
yep.
Life isn't always the fun that we portray on stage. Um, oh, here comes Liz. Um, there's been probably been times in your life when you were on stage and you'd much rather be behind the curtain uh, than in front of the curtain.
You know what? I don't think that that's necessarily true in my case. I always like being up on the stage and everything. I just
Yeah.
I feel comfortable there. Oh, hi, Liz. Liz used to dance two couples with me. Of course, I think she was dancing with one other person. But when COVID was active,
Yeah.
there was some two couple Zoom things going on. I kind of came to the game late, and it was already over by the time I got started. So,
Uh,
but I mean, I look at somebody like Don Mosier. I mean, he was on it right away,
yeah.
and I think it was more likely that the challenge dancers, since they were used to dancing in basements and
Yeah.
not with a live caller, that it was appealing for them.
Yeah.
I was trying to do plus, maybe A1, A2. I still have an A2 that and a C1, but they are um, four couples.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have a plus one also, but it's kind of for the summer. It's kind of
Wrapped up.
we lost a
Yeah.
group from Regina.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, we're getting. They had three squares that would come in. They had a hall, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
would they would let me be their caller 3 out of the 4 weeks of the year, weeks of the month. Then
Yeah.
they had a live caller on the other one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, yeah.
even still, the Zoom stuff is going to go away as soon as I have other things to do.
Hmm.
And right now, I'm not actively seeking other things to do other than an excellent program and protocols for trying to run an SSD program.
Hmm.
Um, so, I kind of get ideas, write them down, erase them later
Yeah.
as being stupid ideas, and I'll try to grow something.
Yeah.
And gotta concentrate on my area. Stop worrying about what other people are doing. Stop that. Make
Yeah.
something successful in my area. And I guarantee you, if I make something successful in my area, or you do the same in your area, everybody will follow.
Well,
People
that's
follow success.
that's what's
So
happening. As simple as what I do. I've got people coming up from Calgary and different parts of the province, sort of a thing. So,
mhm.
and it's really basic. It's but but they're laughing, they're having fun,
Mhm.
and they're not perfect, and I'm not perfect. You know,
Never
Try,
will be.
no,
I,
no,
w- I won't.
no. So anyhow, yeah, yeah. Liz was. I think. Did you learn plus on my Zoom? I don't remember. You're muted. Unmute yourself. Jeez.
Liz, he wants you to unmute.
Okay.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go. Yes.
we danced with Johnny first, and then you came on
Okay.
board, Joe. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It was Johnny and Lauren, and that was about it. And
Yeah.
Don. And
Yeah.
Don.
Yeah. Yeah. So Zoom fit in perfectly at the time.
It
Oh,
Um,
still fits
I
in
think
really
I
well
was going to
too.
say
I
I
can
think
go to
it still
Mexico and
does.
Zoom dance and with Di Green and Et, and it's
that's true.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Numbers are certainly down.
I
Go ahead.
think it's still viable. I'm doing mine for four couples. I found it very difficult to call for two people in a two couple situation. Um, I mean, I did it for a while, but then, as soon as I could, I wanted, they could get together. I wanted four couples.
Yeah.
Um, the need for it was over, so we needed to get back to square dancing and fix it.
Mm-hmm. Well, where they don't have a collar, it's good. I call for a club in Alaska. They don't have a collar. It's full four couple dancing.
Yep.
Number of other places. So yeah, it works out well. Do you have a favorite trip that you took? I mean, you've done so much.
Oh my God. You mean for calling?
Well, any which way.
I love calling in Europe. I love calling in Japan. I've called in Taiwan, loved it there too. Um, I'm trying to think. Asia, that's about all I've done in Asia. I haven't been to Australia. I have been to New Zealand, but not Australia. Um, Canada, and then a lot of countries in Europe.
Hmm.
Norway, Sweden, Denmark, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Austria, Czech Republic.
Mm,
There's more, but
yeah,
it's a good list, yeah.
yeah, that is. We'll have to get a bunch of us seasoned callers together and make a big tour. Dave, wake up.
Is he breathing?
Okay, so there
I,
you
th-
go.
I think he's actually.
I didn't hear that.
I think he's still alive.
I think he's alive, but I think his screen is frozen. I don't think that
Oh, you think that's
Oh,
it?
because even when you're sleeping, you move a little bit.
That's
yes, that's
true,
why I
yeah.
wondered. Yes, I like the frozen screen theory. That's a
He's
good
he's
one.
gonna love this when it gets on YouTube. Okay. Um, let's see. Do you have a favorite food?
Cheese.
No, really? Okay.
And I don't mean that Americans.
No, no, no. I was gonna
Big cheese.
with the travels in Europe, you must have had some really good stuff.
I like
Uh,
French cheese the most, but almost every other country is a close second.
no, wow. Okay. Do you have a favorite book, author?
I haven't read a book in decades.
Wow.
Do you read it on iPhone or anything or?
I do sometimes listen to them, and then I do watch excerpts
Oh yeah,
from on YouTube or
yeah.
as far as books, I'll read a book review from and if from there it's something that I want to do, then I might get a books on tape.
Okay.
Kill some time while I'm driving to and from dances.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sounds
I
like a
have
very
restricted my driving out here in California to it was supposed to be an hour, but now I have a couple dances booked for an hour and a half.
oh
But
yeah.
that's really it. My health issues have slowed me down. It makes it a little easier to say, well, I'm going to stay here
Hmm.
and try to make things happen here. But a lot of it is because I can't go there, so I have to stay here and get what I can get done.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to bounce over here to the have you ever categories. Have you ever ridden a motorcycle?
Yes, never driven one. I've driven a little scooter, but not a real motorcycle.
Not a real.
I've rode
Okay.
on one.
Okay.
Ridden.
Ever jump out of an airplane?
Nope.
Nope. Fly in a hot air balloon?
Nope, and we have those around here in Temecula. This is wine country in Southern California, and hot
Oh,
air balloons over, wine vineyards seems to be a very popular thing. So I I was getting ready to go on one, and I was coming home from a dance, and there was a big fire going on, and it was a hot air balloon had run into some to some wires, electrical wires, and burst into flames. Well, that put it off for me
Yeah, that's a little off-putting.
quite
Yeah,
a bit.
yeah, don't want to fly in that balloon. She. How about scuba diving?
No,
No.
snorkeling, yes. Never scuba diving.
Okay. Ever work in a factory?
Yes,
What kind of a factory was that?
it was a parts factory for the auto industry.
Yeah.
Welding. It was a welding factory. So,
Mm-hmm. She got burns?
not permanent ones.
Not permanent.
Well, I got burned every day.
Yeah, I guess you probably did.
Mostly from the spatter.
Yeah.
And if it somehow got under your glove,
Ooh, jeez.
you couldn't get that glove off fast enough.
I'll bet. Good grief. Uh, Ever ride a horse?
Yes, poorly.
Pretty, yeah, yeah. Uh, um, have you, have you ever wanted to be taller or shorter?
Nope.
Okay. Have you done karaoke?
Lots.
Lots. Okay, you
A lot of times at after parties at square dances, I'll do a karaoke.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Ever do?
I say karaoke. I'm singing songs using karaoke music.
Yeah.
It's not like everybody's allowed to come up and sing like a karaoke bar.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's just instrumental music.
Yeah. There's someone you know.
Eva Falk.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Have you ever flown an airplane?
No,
Mm,
I've been in the front seat,
yeah.
but I really didn't have any desire to.
No.
A mistake can be fatal. So.
Well, yeah. Yeah. It's not the trip down to the ground. It's the landing that
Sudden
makes
stop.
it. Yeah. Yeah. It's that sudden stop. Yeah. Ever sail a sailboat?
Yes.
Out-
Interesting. I sailed in a sailboat when I was in New Zealand calling.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
yeah,
Nice.
that was kind of neat.
I guess that would be. Must have been a big sailboat.
No, I wouldn't say so. I think there was three of us on it. It's one of those little um, kind of personal um, sailboats. Not a
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
couldn't sleep on it or anything like that. So.
Oh, okay. Where did the people dance?
Oh, this was just for fun in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
They danced in the water.
Okay. Oh, you just never know. So if you could be remembered for something in particular, how would you like to be remembered?
Um, Good person.
Okay.
Not everybody can be good every day and all the time, but you'd like the balance to be on the good person side.
Yeah. This sounds like a plan. Is there anything that you're not particularly good at, like with calling?
To tell you the truth right now, because of the health issues I've had, right now I'm having a little bit of a hard time remembering corners.
Hmm.
Used to be easier when people wore matching outfits.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's a little tougher, and it's tougher on me since I've had those seizures. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm finding myself this past year I've had problems. My range my range has come down to like two notes, you know. So I have to do the George Burns kind of thing on a
yeah,
lot
my,
of songs.
my range isn't what it used to be either.
Yeah. Well, COVID kind of killed it because you're out there calling every day, and then all of a sudden you're not calling, and it's a muscle. It's got to be used.
Yeah.
But So I don't know that it's ever going to come back. That's the way it
What, the
goes.
activity or your voice?
Both, and one because of the other, maybe. It's still fun though, and I don't care.
Absolutely, and we'd like to make it fun for more people.
Yeah. So I still firmly believe that we owe it to the activity to do freebies, to go out there and do the demos,
Every Sunday
and
I do.
yep, yep. And like I say, the thing I did this last year worked very well. I got a club out of it.
Document it.
Yeah.
What did
Okay.
I do and how is it working, and
Yeah.
pitfalls to watch out for. And
Yeah. Good idea. Okay. Let's let the audience chime in. I'm kind of coughing here and don't have my medicine, so we'll see what happens. I wish I could get Dave back online here, but so does anybody have any questions? Liz, Mickey, AJ?
Just
Liz
one
left.
comment on Johnny's recording on the song you did with on Acme.
Which one?
Which one did you do?
I don't know. I've
If
recorded for a lot of different
yeah, no.
different
If you
labels.
could
Never
read
really
my
joined one, but
if you could read my mind, that was an outstanding job, I think.
that's actually on Arrowhead.
Oh, was it Arrow? Okay,
Yeah,
then my fault.
I did that one, and I did a song by Bread. That's 40 years old at least. Um, I Want to Make It With You.
Oh yeah.
But the Gordon Lightfoot song really, really did well. So
Yeah, I think you did an outstanding job on that one.
thank
On
you.
the others as well, but that's just that's
I
kind
feel
of
the
a
same. If I had to name one that I thought was, the best, I would say that one.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
kind of a reputation builder or whatever how you want to call it, or showcase one. Yeah, perfect one. Could have been the original song done by you. That's the way it sounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you
That's
made it
high
your own.
praise indeed.
No, it's not flattering. It's a fact, and I've
Well,
heard that from other callers as well.
yeah, Gordon Lightfoot is probably my favorite that kind of artist.
Okay,
Folk soft rock.
yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of ours. Ah. Okay. Anybody else got anything? Okay. Well, we've touched the surface anyhow. Um, and it's so to me anyhow. It's good to find out more about the person, not just the caller, but the person. That's behind the showmanship.
That's what's really so nice about Zoom. It's allowed that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
To me, it's opened up the world. I mean, we see people from all over now. Um, uh, we're doing our Canadian National here in Calgary in July, and there's people from Australia that they've danced to me, but they've never met me. So I'll be meeting them, uh, and just people from all over, and
well,
again, people that we've met along the way.
mhm.
So
Lifetime friends.
yeah, it's made the world a smaller place, and that's great. So, and um, there
So
must
we
be
need to grow the activity to shrink
the world.
shrink the world.
Now there's a book in there somewhere, maybe a singing call.
Yeah.
I'll have to work on that. Yeah. Well, ever since you have to pay for making records or singing calls, I quit doing it. Gren used to pay me, uh, not a lot. Like after a year's worth of recording, you could buy a cup of coffee.
Well, in Sweden, a cup of coffee is expensive. So,
Oh,
is that the
okay.
cup of coffee you're talking about? Or are you talking about the one at McDonald's?
Yeah, right. When I think back to it, yeah, I think it was like 3 cents a record or something. But we didn't have to pay for it. That was the beauty of it.
Right. I didn't have to pay anything, but I certainly didn't ask for any money either. So,
No, no, no. It's good marketing.
well, it is, especially if you get one that's. I've had a lot of compliments on if you could read my mind or if I could read your mind.
Yeah.
I always forget which one it is.
Well, hey, as long as you got the cue sheet in front of you, it doesn't matter. Then the next trip is to learn how to read. Um, that's why we got a little mic problem there. Anyhow, um, I'll have to send you some song titles that I would like if I were going to make records or singing calls again. That I would do. I'll send them to you and see if you can get somebody to support them. There's some,
All right, do that.
yeah, there's a couple of ones that I particularly like that need some work. So, anyhow, uh, glad to see that Mickey and Liz are here, and Dave. Dave's here in spirit, I'm sure.
Like I said, Dave is frozen. He might be able to hear us, but if he could, he probably would let us know that he's not sleeping.
That's
I don't even
true.
think that he's frozen, because if you take a look at the picture, he's breathing. His hands are going just a little bit going up and down. His
Everybody's
fingers on the
stirring.
chest. He is sleeping.
This for anybody that wants to be a caller, this is not the way to get the attention that you're after. Oh lordy, it's too bad because Dave has a wit that is very interesting.
Well, let's talk about him and maybe.
Yeah, maybe he'll come too. Dave, anybody got some music to play here?
I'll tell you what, it still looks to me like he's frozen. I don't see the breathing, but
No, I don't. I don't either. I think he's
and usually
froze.
people aren't that still when they're sleeping. They still move a little.
You take a look at the finger and the bottom of the picture, and then you see it going up and down.
Oh yes, yes. Okay. Plus, if he was frozen, he'd be emailing me or calling me or something, saying, "Take my picture off." Anyhow, so I want to thank.
How are you gonna edit that for for YouTube?
I don't know.
Because I have like all four people
Yeah,
that are visible. I have all four of them up there. So
yeah. See, I should be able to blank his screen, can't I?
I'm sorry.
I think I can blank his screen
You should be able to
as the host. Yeah.
as the host. Yeah,
Stop video. There.
you got.
I should have done that a long time ago. Sorry, Dave.
It was entertaining, Dave.
Yes. Well, I'll see what I can do on my editing here. And I'll get this out to YouTube. Some of the people that normally are on, they must have something. They didn't email me, of course, but Brian Clark, who you probably know.
I do know
Yeah.
Brian.
Brian's a very interesting caller, and he usually always has some good contributions. Um, Hanna and Lars from Sweden.
Oh, I know Han and Lars very
Yeah,
much.
yeah. This might be the first one they've missed.
Well, it's because it's me.
That must be. uh,
No, I have a very good relationship with Lars and Hanna.
yeah.
Um, Stay at their place when I'm in the Copenhagen area very often. They live in Sweden, but it's just across the bridge from
Oh, okay.
Copenhagen. Um, she's a very good caller,
Yeah,
and he's funny and fun to be with.
that's good.
I can't drink beer with him anymore though. That's
Oh,
sad.
that's too bad.
Yeah, I've been taken off alcohol
Yeah, me too. That's a. It was easy at first, but lately I've, wouldn't mind a glass of wine here or there, but
Yeah, but you know what? It's not nearly as hard as I thought it was going to be. When she told me I couldn't, you
yeah.
have to stay off alcohol, um, I thought, oh my God, that's going to be terribly hard for me.
Ah,
Yeah. Now you just remember back to the seizures and go, yeah,
yeah, right.
I can deal with it today. So you take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
I don't have to do it today, but maybe
Uh,
in the future, who knows? Every time I go in to see the neurologist, I say, is that alcohol thing still still applicable?
yeah, right.
And she says yes every time.
I would change neurologist.
No, she's very good. By the way, just a quick story about the history of my seizures. I was calling the Huasca Festival, and however long ago it was, 2015, maybe 16, 17, something like that. Anyway, um, I was supposed to be the moderator for the Saturday morning callers meeting, and 9 o'clock, and at 9:20, I get a phone call into into my hotel room. Hey, where are you? I go, well, I'm in my room. What time is it? It's 20 after 9. I go, you're kidding me. So I got up, threw on some clothes I had on the night before, and I went down there, walked into the meeting, apologizing, over apologizing,
Hmm.
standing up and apologizing. And the meeting ended. I went out to the foyer with another caller, and we were sitting there, and I go, boy, I don't feel very good. And he said, well, then you stood up, threw up on on my laptop,
Oh, jeez.
and then you passed out onto the floor.
Oh
And
my.
well, the ambulance came, took me, and told me I'd had a seizure. That was my first. And
Oh,
actually, after I got home, I emailed with the chairperson of the event and asked him, "Can you please tell me what happened? Because I don't have any recollection of anything going on that morning." And she just briefly said, "Well, you showed up late. You looked like you had been out drinking all night,
oh, jeez.
and your hair was disheveled, your clothes were wrinkled, and the same clothes you had on last night." And anyway, she says, "But then of course." And, oh, they had a meeting, and I was on the first year of a 4-year contract, and
Hmm.
they said we were gonna pay you for this year, but want you to stay in your hotel room and don't come out, and cancel the last 3 years. Well, then of
Wow.
course she says when we heard back from the hospital that that you'd had a seizure and everything, well, that kind of changed everything. So
Yeah,
I
I
was
guess.
able to do the last 3 years at Waska, and it's an enjoyable festival because there's so many callers there that you
Yeah.
don't get to see very often. So sometimes that's the part I'll probably miss the most about traveling is that, you know,
Yeah.
I'd have to wait for some of my friends to come here to California, and I'm not that interesting.
Build it and they will come. Wow. Yeah. Well, yeah, at least you got them under control, eh?
I think the last one I had was 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and I was actually flying to um, Sweden. There was a dancer around here that likes to go to foreign countries to dance, so I was doing the Swedish convention and the Danish convention back to back
Mm-hmm.
weekends. So he
Mm.
decided he'd fly along with me,
Oh, yeah.
and well, he doesn't drink wine, and they were just passing out wine like it was crazy.
Oh.
With the meal, before the meal, and everything. He didn't drink, so I drank his.
Oh.
We got to New York and went into the Delta Airlines Club, and of course, all the alcohol there is free, and the
Mm.
food is free. So we had about 3 hours, and I probably had 3 or 4 beers in that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the plane from JFK to Stockholm, I had a few beers, and when we got to the hotel room, I don't remember going into the hotel room or anything, but I remember coming to, and the EMT was in the room.
Hmm.
Well, I know what that means. I had another seizure.
Yeah.
And so they asked me, well, do you want to go to the hospital? And I says, no, I don't need to go to the hospital. My friend says, yes, you do. This is the second time they've been here.
Oh,
So obviously I had a seizure and they thought I was over it because I don't remember them being there the first time. And
wow.
so, yeah, I had another seizure. I came home and that was the last one I had when she told me, oh, you can't drink alcohol at all.
No. Wow.
So, and a lot of it has to do with anxiety, and I just brushed that all off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, long as you're able to keep those seizures away.
Yeah, and find my corners. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Maybe I'm overdue for a seizure because I've never found my corners anyhow. No. Okay. Well, thanks for coming on, Johnny. It's
Hey, it was
always a
my pleasure.
pleasure.
It was an absolute joy. I had fun.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Well,
Good to see you, Johnny. Keep
Good to see you,
zooming.
Liz.
yeah.
When are you
Keep
gonna
Keep
get a
doing.
zooming.
square? When are
Look,
you
I
gonna get a
know
square
Hannah and
together?
Lars. I know them from Lemonaders on Monday afternoons. I know her.
Oh,
I wouldn't
okay.
have met them without Zoom. Or you or Joe or
Oh,
anybody.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met them a while ago, and actually, Lars and I were pretty good drinking buddies. Beer, I mean, just beer, but yeah, I had to disappoint them the
Oh,
last time.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
all right, Joe. Well,
Okay.
thanks for having me on.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Well,
We'll see you on Zoom.
yeah.
Yeah, get a
Well,
square together, Liz.
yeah.
Come join us.
Yeah. Okay.
You're always welcome. You know that. So,
I'm used to dancing with phantoms now.
yeah.
Uh,